Hi, everybody. I'm going to be doing the geometry section from the algebra of IXL. This is section F, which is all about geometry. I decided to skip ahead to this one so that my students who just finished geometry or algebra 1 will be able to get ready for next year. We're going to start with perimeter, of course, and let's get started. Oh, come on. Get me loaded up here. Looks like my connection's a little bit slow today. There we go. What is the perimeter of this square? Now, in the next few, I'm going to actually go through all the steps. But in this particular one, the perimeter of any polygon is the sum of all the sides. In this case, there's 4 sides. They're all equal. So we've got 4 nines, which is 36 feet. Now, in this particular case, this is a much better situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the steps. There are 5 problem-solving steps that we learned in class. They are a diagram. And you can see that we have a diagram here, and it's labeled. The next step is to write a formula or an equation that is going to work with your problem. And then you substitute inside parentheses. Sometimes you don't have to put the parentheses if there's no operations being conducted on variables. Then you simplify, and sometimes that's it, you're done. And sometimes you have to solve. So we're going to actually go through all of these steps. So the first one is a labeled diagram, which we have right here. Notice that they even labeled it with the units. Now the next step is a formula. The sum of the sides is called the perimeter. So the perimeter of a triangle is equal to side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. Some people will say A plus B plus C, but this is fine. And now we're going to substitute. Normally, I don't want to put the parentheses for this particular one because there's nothing happening to these other than addition, but I'm going to go ahead and follow my directions. The perimeter is 12 inches, and the sides are 5 inches, and 3 inches, and one that we don't know. And we're going to, sorry I didn't put them in parentheses, but go ahead and do that. And that one, there's nothing there. We could have called this X if we wanted to. Actually, I should have put a Z there. So that's what we mean by substituting, is that you actually put what's here for side 3. Oh, what did I do? There we go. Sorry. That's what we want the pencil. There we go. Z. It's supposed to be a Z. And there we have it. Then we simplify. That is 12. And there's 8 plus Z. And I simplify. And my last step is to solve. So we're going to subtract 8 from both sides to solve this. And we get Z is equal to 4, in this case, inches. Now, I'm not going to do all of the steps every single time. Occasionally, you don't need to. In this particular case, I'm going to skip some of the steps. I'm going to write my equation instead of the formula and the substituting because I know that the perimeter is the sum of all of these. So the perimeter is C plus 4 plus C plus 4. That's the perimeter, and it happens to be equal to 48. Now, if you ever have trouble setting up an equation or setting up a problem, then you should follow the steps very carefully. In this case, I'm going to simplify. I get 2C plus 8 is equal to 48. And we subtract 8 from both sides. We get 2C is equal to 40. And divide by 2 on each side, and you get C is equal to 20. In this case, miles. Another triangle, but this time we're only adding the sides. 6 and 8 is 14, plus 10 is 24, and we're done. In this case, my formula is 4t's because I've got a square which has all equal sides, and each side is t. So I have 4t's is equal to my perimeter, which is 20 divided by 4, and you get 5 millimeters for each side. This time we have the sum of a triangle, so you're going to add all 3 sides. Notice that it's probably equilateral because it looks like it is, and this is 9 and this is 9. That makes it isosceles for sure, but we know that s plus 9 plus 9 is equal to the 27, and s plus 18 is equal to 27. We subtract the 18, and of course, we find out that it really is an equilateral triangle. It's also considered to be an isosceles triangle, even though it's equilateral too. This one, we're going to add the 3 sides. We've got 3 of them equal, so I could just multiply them by 3 since it's an equilateral triangle, and that's going to be 24.9 kilometers. Rectangle has sides of length 16 and 13. Well, I can draw a diagram of a rectangle where it's not quite to scale. Here's 16 and 13 and 16 and 13. Clearly, we're going to add 2 of those and 2 of these, which is 26, and we get 58 total. Again, I know I didn't do the steps, but on some, when you can do it in your head, go ahead. It's the times when you need to set them up when they get complicated. The square has sides of 16.7. What is the perimeter? We're just going to multiply it by 4 because that's how you find the perimeter of a square. If you like, the formula is the perimeter of a square is equal to 4s. And notice I substituted inside parentheses and simplified. I'll go ahead and do my 16.7 times 4 over here. That's 8, carry the 2, that's 6, carry the 2, and that's 6, and we have a decimal. Oh, wrong decimal place, there it is. 66.8 yards. A triangle has 3 sides, 20, 20, and one a little bit smaller, so it's almost 60, happens to be 59. Again, if you can do it in your head, why not? Parallelogram has a perimeter of 30.4. 2 of the sides are 3.7. Find the other 2 sides. So there's 2 of these, and if you add 3.7 twice, it's 7.4. And I basically doubled my 3.7. Now the other 2 sides, we don't know how big they are, and it's equal to 30.4 for our total perimeter. All right, that 2s is kind of getting funky there. We're going to subtract the 7.4 from both sides. And we get 2s is equal to 23. So s, when we divide by 2, we get 11.5. And this is in kilometers. This one has some fractions. If we're going to add these up, and it says that we have to write it as a mixed number, whole number, or a fraction, we need a common denominator, and this happens to be 20ths. So I'm going to add 1/4 plus 1/5 plus 1/4 plus 1/5. That's this perimeter. And in order to simplify this, I need a common denominator. So times 5 times 4 times 5 Oh, I said times 5. Times 4. And you've got 9, and 9 is 18 over 20. And that reduces to 9 over 10. And this happens to be in millimeters. This is the perimeter. This time we're adding the sides of a fraction. Our common denominator is 14. So we have 1/2, which is 7 over 14, plus 7 over 14, plus 10 over 14. I just got a common denominator. You take the 1/2 and multiply it by 7 over 7. You take the 5/7 and multiply it by 2 over 2. We add this up and you get 24 over 14. Now I could just leave it like this. It's probably okay as a fraction. Generally you want to reduce them though. That's going to be 12 over 7. Or you could write it as 1 and 5/7. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and put the 12/7 just to be different. Now this time we have a mixed number, and the 4/19 is all the same. So we end up with 16/19 when we add them all together. Basically what I'm doing, I'm kind of separating it out. I've got 4 sides that are all the same. It's on a square. And we're multiplying it by 6 and 4/19. But keep in mind that this mixed number is the same as this. So when you multiply by the 4, you can think of it almost like distribution. So my perimeter is equal to 24 plus 4 times 4 is 16/19. And that can't be reduced, so we're done. 24 and 16/19. One of the things you'll notice is I had to put a space for my mixed number. But I got it. Uh, 15 and 18 wants to put a border. Oh, gotta move myself out of the way here. There, that's probably better. There I am. Okay. The cost of border is $1 per foot. How much will it cost to buy enough border to go around the room? Okay, so we have the perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 2L plus 2W, and a length is 18, and the width is 15. They're kind of interchangeable, but in general, we use the length as the longer side. This is 36 plus 30, which is 66 feet. So she needs 66 feet. And if the border is $1 each, it's going to be $66. 12 and 15 again. Okay. 12 times 2 plus 15 times 2 is equal to our perimeter. And it says they're going to put the shelving. So this is going to be 24 plus 30, which is 54 yards. Notice it's not square yards. Perimeter is distance. It's just a single distance. It's going around the shelves inside the bakery. Thing is, you want to keep in mind that in general, you're not going to include the door in the shelves, but we're going to go ahead and go with their problem here. They said that it's $2 per yard, so we're going to multiply times $2 per 1 yard, and what you'll notice is that the yards cancel out and you get $108. Come on. 5 by 6 builds a fence. Fence costs $3. Again, we're talking about a rectangle probably. Well, it doesn't specify, but they probably mean that it's a rectangle. So it's 5 by 6. I'll draw it more or less to scale. There's 5 and 6. And this time I'm just going to add in my head. That's 12 and 10, which is 22. Times the $3 per yard is $66 again. Each side of a square courtyard is 24 feet long. Sorry, not a very pretty square. It costs $7 per foot to replace the brick wall around the courtyard. How much would it cost to replace it? So to get the perimeter of a rectangle, it's 4s. In this case, the sides are 24 feet. And 4 times 24 is 96. And this is in feet. And we have to multiply that by 7. And it's 2 and 4 and 67. $672. Movie poster is 3 feet and 5. We know that movie posters are rectangular. That's 3 by 5. And we've got 16 feet for the whole thing. A frame shop charges 52 cents for the metal black frame. So it's going to be 52 times 52 cents. That's 2 is 32. Carry the 0. We have a 0 and a 3 and an 8. So it's going to be $8.32 to put the frame around, which is pretty accurate. That's about how much it costs for those little small black frames. It's pretty expensive. Okay, finally. They should say rectangular, if that's what they mean. Sorry, I can't write on it. There. Build a rectangular go pen. The pen will be 15 by 25. Again, same deal. This is 15 by 25. And here's a shortcut. Add these together and you get 40, and double it and you get 80. So it's 80 feet is our perimeter. I probably should write P since I'm talking, not A. There we go, 80 feet. So we have 80 feet, and it costs $3 per foot. That's $240. And we're done. Come on. There we go. Which figure has a greater perimeter? Well, this is a pentagon, and it's actually called a regular pentagon because all the sides are the same length. Oh, I was touching it. Dang it. I shouldn't touch it. Okay, next. Try again. A painting measures 1 meter by 2 meters. A frame shop charges $19 per meter. It's expensive. How much would it cost to frame the painting? Well, it's 1 by 2. So you have a total of 6 meters, and it's $19 per meter. $114. Yep. Pool in the backyard needs a fence. We're assuming it's rectangular again. Charlie's backyard is 14 by 15 meters, and we want 936 to install. So it's 14 by 2 plus 15 by 2. And that's going to give us our perimeter for the entire area. And we've got 28 and 30. So 58 for our perimeter, and it's 936. Oops. and I'm going to be lazy. I was going to grab my calculator and do it. Go grab my calculator. I usually have it ready, but the other ones like that. Oh, come on. There we go. Calculator. I pause it, but it doesn't let me for the way that I'm doing this. There we go. All right, 58 times 936. 4288. Uh, 16 by 28. 16 times 2 is 32. 2 times 28 is 56. So we've got 32 plus 56. That's 88 for the perimeter, and it's $8. And 8 times 88 is 4. Carry the 6. And 0, 7, 704. Make sure I didn't make a dumb mistake. Looks okay. 64 and 6 is 70. Okay, so this one, the perimeter is equal to 12 times 3, which is 36. This perimeter happens to be 6 and 17, which is 23 and 18, which happens to be 41. So this one has the greater perimeter. Which one has a greater perimeter? The 40. If I add these, it happens to be 22, and this one's 44 millimeters versus 40 millimeters. I want the greater. And again, we want the greater one. This one is 14.5, 11.6, and 8.7. That's 8 to carry the 1. That is 5, 6, 14, 34.8. And this one is 23.8 for the two 11.9s and the 10.8. And that looks like 34.6. So it looks like it's this one. We've got two 8.1s, which is 16.2. We've got two 11.2s, which is 22.4. It's going to be 38.6 for this one. This one is going to be 34.8 and 12.4, which is 47.2. Definitely this one. I should have checked whether it was yards or feet. These are in inches. We've got a pentagon at 50.5 feet, inches, excuse me, times 5. It's 5, 2, 5, 2. Decimals there, 252.5. And this one is 53.2, 53.2, 96.2, 6. That looks like a 6 and 6 is 2. 1, 202. Really? Oh, it's way off. Well, this one's much bigger. And this one is a octagon at 26.6. That's 8 to carry the 4. That's 2 carry the 5. That's 21. 212.8. And that one's a square. Looks like the square is bigger. Hopefully just one more. 96.5. That's a square times 4. 386 and 84.4. Well, duh. Which one has a greater perimeter? This one does. Don't have to do it. And which one is greater in this case? I can estimate and see that this one is going to be very close to 300, and this one is much less. So we're all done. Hopefully you don't have any trouble, and don't make a mistake. Don't touch the pictures. Good luck.